Loose Man. Today's topics are: would you let your child share a bed with your dog? Do we need parent and child parking spaces? Would you relive a failed relationship? Would you like parenting feedback from your kids? Today's panel was Andrea McLean, Nadia Sawalha, Saira Khan, and Jane Moore. Now with me, Ashley Gardner. Today's guest was Sean Ward. So on today's show, they was talking about divorce. Apparently, it's today there is the biggest divorce settlement due. It's something to do with Amazon, and they said they would do be together all over again if they could. So the panel was discussing whether they would relive any of their failed relationships. Because I know I wouldn't. Nadia said she would, apart from one toxic one, and that she could have done without Gary. Whilst the panel was talking, she was running through the list in her head, which was just it was just funny. And then Saira was said about her first love, who she went out with, ended up being gay. Andrea didn't talk about her past relationships. Then after that, they started talking about car park spaces. Getting a parking space at a supermarket can be difficult. Combine that with an angry child or angry kids in the back of the car, and you've got a bit of a nightmare scenario. Do you think parents should get priority spaces just because they have kids? Or should parent or child parking be scrapped? What's more, should people who use parent spaces when there is no child in a car be banned from the supermarket? Well, I think they should be scrapped. If people think they should get priority just because they got kids, people will want kids just to get priority. And to be honest, I know that there are people out there today that are like that. It's wrong. The only people that should get priority is disabled and elderly. I think they should replace the parent and child parking spaces with elderly parking. And I know a lot of people were saying, a lot of comments that's come in, which I'll say in a bit, about making all the spaces wider, because I do get when they say that you can't, when you're in a normal parking space and you're trying to put a baby in the car seat and that, and you got a car next to you who can't park for nothing. Yeah, we do need wider car park spaces, or put the child and parking spaces somewhere not near the door. And I know there was a few comments about what Jane said as well, which I get their point, the way she spoke to a woman, because she couldn't see any physical disability. I know she will get a lot of stick for that. Nadia was on one today. She was so funny. She was telling us when she went into a museum with her daughter, she wanted to use the toilet, but it was a unisex one, so she thought she was going to see all these willies. So she ended up using. So she ended up using a disabled toilet, and instead of pulling the flush cord, she, she pressed the emergency cord. I can just imagine her doing that. Yeah, it was that topic. The things they were coming out with, especially Saira, you wouldn't expect her to do something like just park in a child bay when she hasn't got the kids and all that. I wouldn't expect her to do that. Um, so after that topic, they talked about kids sleeping with their dogs. We've all seen videos of dogs lovingly cuddling up with babies on the internet. Puppies and children can be a great combination in the right environment, but according to experts, excitable young kids can also be overwhelming to dogs. Tantrums, squeals of joy, and jumping around can be frightening to puppies and dogs. So, would you let your child snuggle up at night with your pooch? Or do you think dogs and children need to be supervised at all times? So there was a video with a dog in her cot. A video of a dog and a toddler. Because there was an earthquake and the only way she would settle and feel safe is to have that dog in her cot with her. I think it's wrong. Anything could happen. It was a big dog in, like, basically a cage. That dog could easily roll over onto her and no one would know. Dogs should have their own bed. That's why they make dog beds. My dog is not allowed upstairs at all. We have a stair gate so he doesn't go up. I understand if they was older, but not a toddler or a baby. That is just completely wrong. And apparently, Labrador is the breed that hurts the most, or something like that. They was going on about, but yeah, it was a shocking breed, really, because you would think as a Labrador, they're guide dogs. They help people come down with autistic and everything else. You wouldn't think such a lovely dog could be the highest run. So next up, Sean Ward come on from Coronation Street. He came on to talk about beating his addictions with depression, porn, drink. He was saying the more friends he made on Corey, the lonelier he got. He was drinking a lot and done cold turkey, and he was offered antidepressant tablets which he didn't want to use at the time. He hasn't had no help at all from any professional. He's been trying to do it all on his own, and I think it's so brave of him to go on live TV to talk about his addiction to porn, because it is like crack cocaine of a sex addict, which is what Jane said. It can lead to mental health problems. So really well done to him for speaking out about it. I'm sure there's a lot of men out there that has that kind of addiction. And he should be really, really proud of himself for going on live television, talking to 4 women about this subject. And if you have been affected by anything he talked about today, then please go over to the Loose Women website for helplines. So they are celebrating 20 years this near the end of the year, and they look back at some memories. And today's term was Saira. She looked back at some of the sad moments when she was on, and a couple of happy times as well. Um, according to a new survey, this is brilliant. According to a new survey, kids want their parents to use their telephones less. The panel's kids have give their parents New Year's resolutions for 2019. I was so looking forward to hearing what Maddie and Kiki had given Nadia. So, Maddie wants Nadia to be quieter and less stressful. And Kiki wants her to never sing again. And then Andrea's son, Finn, wants her to have more girly days out so that he can have more lad days. And Amy just wants her podcast to be more successful, which is lovely of her to say that. Saira's son wants her to, well, Siren's daughter, Amelia, wants her to spend more time with her, or with them. And her son, Saira, he wants her to spend less time on the phone. Jane's daughter, Gracie, wants her to stop spoiling the end of movies, stop singing to wake her up, and stop telling her to clean her room. So that was interesting to hear. So here's some of the topics, comments on the topics. These are to do with the parking spaces. So Karen Kett on Facebook said, how about making all spaces actually big enough to open car doors properly? I totally agree with. Coral Brooks said, if you'd asked me months ago, I would have said get rid of them. However, since having a baby 5 months ago, I've realised just how helpful they can be. For me, I don't care how close they are situated to the shop. It's about the spaces being a bit wider, where it's so helpful trying to get a baby and pram, etc. out of your car. Especially if your car is a free door. Unfortunately, some people park far too close to the car next to them in lots of car parks, leaving little to no room to get yourself in the car, let alone a baby into a car seat. So I think parent and child spaces are a great idea. Yeah, I get where she's coming from. Deb Stewart said, keep them, put that, she said, keep them, but put them further away from the doors. No need to be right next to the door. I completely agree with that. These next comments was about letting your child share a bed with the dog. Tracy James said, yes, not a problem. A dog is part of the family, and also used to help calm children with autism. If a dog is not treated like one of the family, do not have one. Well, that's not an excuse at all. Heidi Blake said, no children should never be left unattended with any animal. It's basic common sense. Yep, totally agree. Jordan Cooper said, dogs belong in their own sleeping area, not with humans. Yep, pretty agree with that again. Kaylee Furness said, I don't understand why people have a dog. but say they wouldn't leave them alone in a room with them. Don't own, don't have a dog if you don't trust it. One way I agree. So that was some of the viewers' comments, and the end of today's vlog.